My name is Guadalupe and I'm 85 years old. 6 months ago, I had a conversation that completely changed the way I see love. And it wasn't with a therapist, it wasn't with a priest. It was with my 18-year-old great-granddaughter sitting in my kitchen one Tuesday afternoon. She asked me a question so simple that anyone could ask it. But the answer that forced me to realize something took my breath away. It made me see that I had misunderstood love for 65 years. And now, with more life behind me than ahead, I finally understand something I should have known when I was 20. But let me start from the beginning. You need to understand my story to understand why that conversation impacted me so much. I was born in 1939 on a small ranch in Jalisco. My mother died when I was 3. My father remarried quickly, not out of love, but out of necessity. He needed someone to take care of his 5 children while he worked in the fields. My stepmother was a tough woman, not cruel, but not loving either. She fed us, she clothed us, but she never hugged us. She never told us she loved us. I grew up believing that was normal, that love was functional, practical, that it was shown through actions, not words or gestures of affection. My father worked until his hands bled to support us. That was love, I thought. Sacrifice, suffering, enduring. When I was 16 in 1955, I met Ramon. He was 22, he worked on the neighboring ranch. He was tall, strong, a good worker. My father approved of him. That was what mattered. Not whether I felt butterflies in my stomach, not whether he made me laugh, but whether he could provide, whether he was responsible, whether he was a good man by my father's standards. Ramon came to ask for my hand in marriage 6 months after we met. My father said yes. I was never asked, it was assumed that I would say yes too. And I did, because that's how things worked. A good man chose you, you accepted, and you built a life together. We got married in 1956. I was 17. Ramon was 23. On our wedding night, as I got ready in the room we would share, I looked at myself in the mirror. I was wearing a simple white dress my stepmother had sewn, and I wondered if this was it. If this was how I was supposed to feel. There was no excitement, no anticipation. Just quiet resignation. The early years established the pattern that would continue for the next 6 decades. Ramon worked, I cooked, cleaned, and did the laundry. He provided the money, I provided the home. We were a functional team, efficient. Like 2 oxen plowing the same field, we didn't fight. Ramon never raised his voice to me. He never laid a hand on me. He never drank. He was never unfaithful to me. By all the standards of my community, he was an exemplary husband. And I was, by all the standards, an exemplary wife. Obedient, hard-working, quiet, but we never talked. Not really. Our conversations were transactional. Did you pay the grocer? Yes. Did you fix the fence? Tomorrow. What's for dinner? Mole. 65 years of conversations like that, sharing a space, sharing a life, but never truly sharing who we were. My first child, Miguel, was born in 1957, then came Rosa in 1959, next was Pedro in 1961, and finally Carmen in 1963. 4 children in 6 years. My life became an endless cycle of pregnancies, births, breastfeeding, changing diapers, cooking, cleaning, and starting all over again. I loved my children, I still love them, but in those years I lost any sense of who I was beyond being a mother. I had no time to think, to feel, to ask myself if I was happy. I just functioned, day after day, year after year. Ramon was a good father in the sense that he provided. He worked hard. There was never a lack of food on our table. There was never a lack of clothes for the children, but emotionally he was absent. He didn't play with them. He didn't hug them. He didn't tell them he loved them the way his father had loved him and the way I had learned from my father and stepmother. We were perpetuating a cycle of love without warmth, of commitment without connection, of family without intimacy. I remember when Rosa was 12 years old. It was 1971. She came to me crying. She told me that the girls at school were making fun of her. She hoped I would comfort her, hug her, tell her that everything would be all right. But I didn't know how to do that. I'd never been taught. So I said, just ignore them. Concentrate on your studies. And I sent her back to her room. I saw the disappointment on her face, the need for something more, but I didn't know how to give it to her. I didn't know how to be the kind of mother she needed. I only knew how to be the kind of mother I'd had. Functional, practical, distant. The years passed. The children grew up. They left home one by one. Miguel in 1975, Rosa in 1977, Pedro in 1979, Carmen in 1981, and suddenly Ramon and I were alone again, after 25 years of marriage. Alone in a house that suddenly felt too big and too quiet, and we realized we had nothing to talk about. The children had been our only topic of conversation for decades. Now that they were gone, there was nothing. Only silence. A silence so thick you could almost touch it. Ramon would go out to the patio after dinner. I would wash the dishes. Then we would sit in the living room. He would watch television. I would knit night after night, year after year. Two people sharing a space, but living completely separate lives. I never questioned whether this was normal, whether other marriages were like this. I assumed they were. I assumed this was what being married for a long time meant. That passion was for the young, that after decades together, you became polite roommates. The children started having their own children. Miguel had 2, Rosa 3, Pedro 1, Carmen 2, 8 grandchildren in total. We saw them on birthdays, at Christmas, on special occasions. But we weren't close grandparents, not the kind the grandchildren ran to hug. We were formal, distant. We gave them presents. We asked them about school, but we never really connected because we didn't know how. We had spent our entire lives without connecting with anyone, not even with each other. In 2015, Ramon had a stroke, a massive one. He lost his speech. Half of his body was paralyzed. He spent 3 months in the hospital. I went every day. I sat by his bedside, sometimes for hours. He couldn't speak. I didn't know what to say either. So we sat in silence, as we had done for 60 years. When he finally left the hospital, he required constant care. I became his caregiver. I fed him. I bathed him. I dressed him. I cared for him as I had cared for our children decades before. Functional, practical, efficient. The doctors said I could hear, that I understood, that I just couldn't respond. They suggested I talk to him, tell him about my day, share my thoughts. But after 60 years of not speaking, I didn't know how to begin. So we continued in silence. I was doing my daily chores. He was lying in bed or sitting in his chair. 2 people in the same room, completely alone. Ramon died in 2020 of pneumonia. Peacefully, the doctor said. I was holding his hand when he passed. I had been married to him for 64 years, more than 6 decades. And when he died, I realized something terrible. I didn't know him. Not really. I didn't know what his dreams were when he was young, what made him happy, what scared him, what he thought about God or death or the meaning of life. We had shared a lifetime, raised 4 children, survived decades of marriage, and we were strangers. At the funeral, People were talking about what a good man he had been, what a good provider, what a faithful husband. And it was all true, but I stood there wondering, was that enough? Was being good and faithful enough? Or had we missed something fundamental, something that made a shared life worthwhile? After the funeral, I was left alone in this house. My children came to visit me for the first few weeks, but then they went back to their lives, their jobs, their families, and I was alone. Truly alone for the first time in my life. The days were long, empty. I would get up, make breakfast, clean the house, which was already clean, watch television, go to sleep. And the next day, it all started again. My great-grandchildren started being born. The first was Sebastian, son of Miguel's son, in 2018. Then more came. Now I have 6 great-grandchildren, numbers on my family tree, names I mention when someone asks about my family, but I don't know them. Not really, except for one. Valeria, Rosa's great-granddaughter. She's 18, and for some reason I don't fully understand, she decided she wanted to meet me. She started visiting once a month at first, then every 2 weeks, then every week. At first, I didn't know what to do with her. I'd make coffee, I'd serve cookies, we'd have polite conversation about school, about the weather, about nothing important. But she kept coming, and slowly he began to ask me questions. Not the normal questions people ask the elderly. Not about how things used to be or family stories, but questions about me, about who I was, what I felt, what I thought. At first, I didn't know how to answer. No one had asked me those kinds of questions in 85 years, but she waited, patiently, with genuine interest. And little by little, I began to open up. 6 months ago, on a Tuesday afternoon, Valeria came to visit me as usual. We were sitting in my kitchen drinking coffee. She was telling me about a boy she liked, Diego. About how she felt when they were together, how they talked for hours, how he made her laugh, how she felt seen, heard, and known. And suddenly she stopped talking. She looked me straight in the eyes, and she asked me, "Grandma Lupe, is this how you felt with Grandpa Ramon?" The silence that followed was deafening. I opened my mouth to say yes, to say of course, to maintain the illusion that my marriage had been what it was supposed to be. But the words wouldn't come out. Because the truth was no. I had never felt this way with Ramon. I had never felt that emotion, that connection, that feeling of being seen and known. We had never talked for hours. He had never made me laugh like that. He had never made me feel special. Valeria saw the answer on my face before I said anything. Her eyes filled with sadness. "Never?" she asked gently, and I began to cry. At 85 years old, sitting in my kitchen with my great-granddaughter, I cried like I hadn't cried in decades. I cried for 64 years of marriage without intimacy, for a shared life without real connection, for all the love I never felt, for all the conversations we never had, for all the time we wasted being strangers who shared a last name. Valeria hugged me, and I realized I couldn't remember the last time someone had hugged me like that, tenderly, carefully, as if I mattered. When I finally managed to speak, I told her everything, about how I met Ramon, about how we got married without really knowing each other, about 64 years of functional silence, about how I thought that was love, that sacrifice and loyalty were enough. And Valeria told me something that changed me completely. She said, "Grandma, that wasn't love. It was a business agreement. It was a partnership. Maybe that's all you knew. Maybe that's all you were taught. But it wasn't love." His words hit me like a punch to the gut, because he was right, completely right. Ramon and I had been partners in the business of raising a family. We'd been efficient, loyal, responsible, but we had never loved each other. not in the way love should be. I asked her how she knew the difference. She was only 18, and she told me something that made me cry again. She said, "Because when Diego looks at me, I feel whole. When we're together, I don't want to be anywhere else. When we talk, time disappears." That's love, Grandma. It's not sacrifice. It's not enduring. It's joy. It's connection. It's choosing to be with someone because you can't imagine your life without them. And I realized that never, in 64 years of marriage, had I felt that way about Ramon. I had never felt complete with him. Time had never stood still when we were together. I had never felt that I couldn't imagine my life without him. I had married him because it was expected. I had stayed because it was the right thing to do. I had played my part, but I had never loved him. Not truly. And the worst part is, he probably never loved me either. Because love requires knowing someone. It requires seeing who they really are. And we never really knew each other. We spent 64 years together without ever truly showing ourselves to one another. After Valeria left that day, I sat in my kitchen for hours, thinking, remembering, regretting. 85 years of life, 64 years of marriage, and only now understanding that I had completely missed what it means to love. I thought about all the missed opportunities, all the conversations we never had, all the moments we could have connected but chose silence instead. All the times I could have asked him about his dreams, his fears, his hopes, and all the times he could have asked me the same. I thought about how we raised our children with that same model, functional, distant, and how they're probably repeating the same pattern with their own children, a cycle of love without intimacy, of family without real connection. And I realized something devastating. I had wasted my life. Not because Ramon was a bad man. He wasn't. He was good, responsible, faithful. But we had built a life together without ever truly being together. We had slept in the same bed for decades without ever truly knowing each other. We had grown old side by side without ever truly seeing each other. Since that conversation with Valeria, I've been thinking a lot about love, about what it really is, about how I've misunderstood it my whole life. I grew up believing that love was sacrifice, endurance, loyalty, and those things are important, but they aren't enough. Real love requires vulnerability. It requires showing yourself. It requires deep conversations. It requires emotional risk. It requires choosing to know and be known. Love isn't just about sharing a life. It's about sharing who you are, your fears, your dreams, your deepest thoughts. It's about creating a space where both people can be completely themselves. It's real intimacy, not just physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. Ramon and I never had that, and it's not just his fault, it's mine too. I didn't open up either. I didn't ask questions. I too chose the safety of silence over the risk of intimacy. And now it's too late. Ramon is gone. 4 years have passed since his death, and I'll never have the chance to truly know him, to truly love him, to have the kind of relationship Valeria describes with Diego. I am 85 years old. Most of my life is over, and only now do I understand what I missed, what I wasted, what I could have had if I had been brave enough to open up, to ask, to connect. Here's what I've finally come to understand about love. It's not just about finding someone good. It's not just about finding someone loyal or responsible or hardworking. It's about finding someone with whom you can be completely yourself. Someone who wants to get to know you, who asks you questions, who's interested in your thoughts, your feelings, your dreams, and it's about choosing to be that person for them too, choosing to ask, choosing to listen, choosing to see who they truly are beyond their roles and responsibilities. Love is risk. It's vulnerability. It's conversations at 3 in the morning. It's crying together. It's laughing together. It's sharing not just a space or a life, but your whole soul. And I never did that. In 85 years, I never allowed myself to be vulnerable in that way. I never allowed myself to be fully known, and I never fully knew anyone else. I see Valeria with Diego now. The way they look at each other, the way they talk, the obvious connection between them, and I feel joy for her. But I also feel a deep pain, because she's 18 and already understands something that took me 85 years to learn. Don't make my mistake. Don't confuse loyalty with love. Don't confuse commitment with connection. Don't marry someone just because they're a good person, or because your parents approve, or because it seems like the safe option. Marry someone who wants to know you, really know you, someone who asks you questions about who you are and how you feel, someone with whom you can have conversations that last for hours, someone who makes you feel seen, heard, known, and be that person for them. Ask questions, listen, take a chance on emotional intimacy, take a chance on being vulnerable, because a life without that deep connection isn't really a life. It's just existence, it's functioning, it's just passing the time until it's over. I'm 85 years old and only now am I understanding this. Don't let it take you so long. Don't waste decades in a relationship that seems right but feels empty. Don't settle for being polite roommates when you could have a real connection. Life is too short to spend it with someone you don't know, who doesn't know you. To spend decades in silence when you could be having conversations that change you, that challenge you, that make you grow. If you're in a relationship now, ask yourself, do I really know this person? Do they really know me? Do we have emotional intimacy, or are we just sharing space? And if we don't, are they willing to create that intimacy? Or are they like me, simply functioning side by side? Because you don't want to reach 85 and realize you wasted your entire life with someone you never knew, with someone who never knew you, that you spent decades together but completely alone. Valeria saved me in a way with that question. She forced me to confront a truth I had been avoiding for 85 years. And although it hurts, although it makes me cry at night, it also set me free. Because now I know the difference between a business agreement and real love, between loyalty and connection, between sharing a life and sharing a soul. And although it's too late for me and Ramon, it's not too late for you. It's not too late for Valeria. It's not too late for anyone reading this. Seek real love, the kind of love that requires vulnerability, the kind of love that scares you because it means showing yourself completely, the kind of love that is deep conversations and shared laughter and tears shed together. Don't settle for less. Don't settle for what I had. 64 years of polite silence, of loyalty without intimacy, of commitment without connection. Life is too precious. Time is too short. And love, real love, is too important to settle for an imitation. If anything I said resonates with you, share it. Share it with someone in a relationship that feels empty, with someone who's confusing loyalty with love, with someone who needs to know there's more. That love can be more. It should be more. And leave me a comment. Tell me about your experience with love. Whether you found that real connection or, like me, spent years in relationships that felt right but empty. Because these conversations matter, these truths matter. Subscribe, because I have more to share, more lessons learned too late, more truths about love, life, and what really matters. I won't be here much longer. I'm 85 years old. But while I am here, I want to use my experience, my pain, my regret to help you avoid making the same mistakes. Real love exists, deep connection exists, emotional intimacy exists, and you deserve it. Don't settle for less just because it feels safer, just because it's what your parents did, just because you don't know how to ask for more. Learn from my mistake. Don't waste 85 years figuring out what you missed. Learn now, live now, love now, truly, deeply, completely, before it's too late.